If AI is the Wild West, does that make data the new gold?
The AI factory would develop the software for this car. Yep. This car would, of course, go through life experience and collect more data. The data would go to the AI factory. The AI factory would improve the software and update the entire AI fleet.
If you understand what Matthew said, he said that data is the new gold. And then if you understand what Jensen said, he said that the EVs would provide the data to the AI farm, and then the AI farm, which is EV, would send that data out to the fleet of automobiles to run the autonomous automobile. Well, if you have a factory and you are gathering resources to build your product, you pay the source of that metal or that rubber or whatever in that automobile, you pay them for the resource that they provide you. Well, who is going to provide the EV AI factory with the data? You and I. So should we be paid for the data that we provide the EV factory to run the fleet of automobiles throughout the world? In fact, should we be paid to buy an EV automobile? I think we should. Now let's take that to the medical field. If I go down and get an X-ray, and that X-ray is transferred to Oracle, and Oracle has a medical factory, a data factory, and it distributes it to all the labs and technicians around the world who are trying to find a cure for cancer. And my data gets involved and helps in finding a cure for cancer. And then that cure is sold by a pharmaceutical company to individuals to eliminate cancer. Should I be paid for the data that I produce? Should I be paid? My mother died of cancer in 1953. If that data is being used to find a cure for cancer, should I be paid as her heir for that data? Yeah, I think I should. Is that the way the world is going to run right from now? So if you're a farmer and you produce grain that turns into cereal and you sell it to Kellogg's, do you get paid for it? Yeah, that's how the world works. Well, if Matthew's right and data is the new gold, then those of us who produce the data will get paid for it. So my next paycheck is going to come from the data factories that Jensen is talking about. Does that make sense? Do you think that holds water? Okay, let's say it does. All right. Then what do we do as investors to figure out who is going to harness this data? Who is going to create these factories that Jensen is talking about? You know, we know that Amazon has an abundance of data, and we know that Google and Microsoft have an abundance of data. Whose data is that? Is it theirs or is it mine and yours? And if they are going to profit from it, should they share the profits with us? Again, go back to what Matthew said. The data is the gold. If you're mining the gold in my backyard, should you pay me for it? I think so. If we did that, if that was how the world worked, if it was, I got paid in Bitcoin and it was paid through the blockchain because the blockchain keeps track of what I own, and when I die, it keeps track of what I own, my data. Should my heirs get the profits made off of the data that my body produced to find a cure for cancer? I think so. Our world is changing in such a way that we aren't going to need workers. We're going to have robots. We're going to have systems that run our world for us. We aren't going to need customer service agents. We aren't going to need banks. So what is it we're going to pay our citizens for to give them the ability to put a roof over their head and put food on the table? I think Matthew told us. I think he made it very clear. And I think Jensen has a vision of these data centers that specialize in specific data that you and I generate that makes the world a better place to live. So, what I have to do this week, next month, next year, is figure out who's going to be the providers of this data. I know that Jensen and NVIDIA are going to be making some of the chips that are going to make this data processing possible. I know that I know the companies that helped Jensen make the software that is going to be specific for the EV market, and then for the medical market, and then for the legal market, and the various markets that these data factories, or I guess that's the data factory, is going to, the AI factory is going to specialize in. If I can figure out the companies, and then I can also figure out the companies who are going to build these individual data centers, because each one is going to have different properties, such as the EV one has to be close to the fleet because of latency. They have to be able to give an answer to stop that car because there's someone in the crosswalk. That's more important, whereas the medical one can be out in the middle of nowhere and can be cooled more efficiently, whereas the EV factory has to probably be submerged somewhere. If I can figure all that out, I can invest in the companies that are going to make this big change in our world. Again, think about the change. Labor, for the Industrial Revolution, we took the farmer off the field, put him in the factory, and used his back, his muscles, to create our products. And then we created machinery to replace the labor. And now we're replacing the labor with robots and the knowledge with data. The education system will change because everybody will have access to all the knowledge in the world. We just got to figure this out, because it's coming, and it's coming fast, and the people with the money are way ahead of me. I think I just opened a window for you that Jensen has looked through this window in greater distance than I have, but I think I've figured it out. So if you want to be a part of my figuring out, join our group, get on our bus. We have a bus 13 that deals with who's going to build the infrastructure. Then we have a bus 12 that says who's going to build the software to utilize that infrastructure. Then we need to probably build a bus 11 that who's going to build all these data centers and cool them and make them efficient. And then who's going to build the banking system or the financial system that is going to pay me for the X-ray that I have done, or the blood test that I have done that becomes data in someone's data factory. You see where this is going? The world is going to change, and we're going to be paid for our gold. And as Matthew McConaughey says, the new gold is data. And the data is ours, you and I's. And we will get paid for it. At least I think we should. That's the drum I'm going to beat. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. This is what I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about and saying, oh my goodness, This is where this is going. I heard Jensen Huang talk about AI factories. That factory is what Henry Ford made. What's the similarities? Where are the resources going to come from for these AI factories? You and I. Get on the bus. Let's ride this one together and have a good time doing it. Talk to you again tomorrow.